It's no secret that Mojang have shunned the PvP community throughout its entire existence, and frankly, I'm sick of it. The PvP community is one of the largest communities in the entire game. Whether you refuse to acknowledge it or not, it's massive. All of the largest Minecraft servers are PvP oriented, and it's always been this way, and Minecraft PvP has an immense presence on YouTube. There are countless channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers that they have amassed purely off of Minecraft PvP content. You can imagine it like this. The Minecraft PvP community started off as this small village of a small group of people who are all intrigued by Minecraft's combat system. It's easy to learn, but still has a decently high skill ceiling so that people can rise out above the crowd, which is perfect for Minecraft's demographic, which is mostly young people, because they can just plug in a mouse and click, click, click away and get good pretty quickly, you know. It's not like other games where you necessarily have to invest hours into mastering the mechanics, learning the game sense, learning all like gunfire spreads and all that kind of stuff. You can literally just plug in a mouse, click, and get decent pretty quickly. You know, you have a fighting chance, which is really the great thing about Minecraft PvP, because not many other PvP oriented game modes are like this. Further down the road, Hunger Games servers started to open and UHC started to come into existence, and this small village started to grow into a town, and then these game modes attracted the attention of large YouTubers, and YouTubers even spawned from these game modes, which caused this town to explode and turn into a city. Now this city, the PvP community, was already huge, but then servers like Hypixel and Gomi HD and Mineplex all opened, introducing new minigame servers that had never been seen before that were all PvP related. So seriously, it was growing massively at this point, and then Mojang basically cut off the water supply and left us all to fend for ourselves, for us all to, you know, just inevitably die of thirst. We're all going to die out because Mojang essentially pulled the plug on this beautiful thing that we had going for us. Mojang was straight up willing to let this part of the game that was growing exponentially with millions of players selling millions of copies and driving innovation and creativity through game modes, minigames, and servers, die. They were willing to let it all die. We were doing just fine without you, Mojang. We dealt with abusive players, DDoS attacks, harassment, hacking, spam bots, and whatever else, all of the drama that goes down in the Minecraft PvP community. We were the ones that fixed it. Minecraft isn't our game, it's yours, so why do we have to pick up the pieces for you? What other games company relies on their community to do all of this stuff for them? What's stopping you from locking or banning these abusive accounts from buying or playing your game entirely? What's stopping you from actively trying to combat cheaters? Because we all know Minecraft is infamously the most hacked on game in the world, and yet you do nothing at all to counteract it. What's stopping you from taking down all of these phony phishing websites that scam your players into giving up their account details that they then sell on illegal alt shops? But then again, you'd rather spend your time attacking an innocent small YouTuber because his book happened to feature your logo. As I said though, in spite all of this, we were doing just fine without you, Mojang. That was until you released Minecraft version 1.9. This was essentially you cutting off our water source and leaving us to die. Now, I know that your intentions were good with this update, and to be honest, I kind of agree with it to an extent. Minecraft was never intended to be a PvP game and has a really dumb combat system. I mean, what other game in the world relies on how fast you can click to determine skill? It's such a dumb mechanic and will only really lead to potential carpal tunnel in the future, so that had to go. I agree with that, and I'm glad that you guys acknowledged it, but the way you executed it was just terrible. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, Mojang have basically pretended that the PvP community doesn't exist ever since the beginning of Minecraft PvP, so it's no surprise that they had no idea what we actually wanted in this update. They made zero attempt to gather any kind of feedback from us or communicate with us, and instead they decided to make changes to please, you guessed it, the single player community, not the community that actually uses the combat on a day-to-day basis and has mini games revolving around the combat. Nah, we're just gonna make it easier to beat up zombies, I guess. But Refraction, how could this kill the Minecraft PvP community, you might ask? Surely we could all just update our clients and play on the latest version and use the new combat systems, right? Wrong. 1.9 PvP is almost a complete rewrite of the combat system. This would require basically rewriting every single Minecraft PvP minigame in existence from the ground up, and this is just not really possible. There are so many minigames out there. Rewriting some of them may not be possible, you know, they might not be compatible with future versions, and then you have to think about development costs, like how much it would actually cost to update all of those games, which is just ridiculous. You can't expect every single server to do that and have enough money to do so. Furthermore, every single player in the game would have to completely relearn combat, which is just not practical, you know. So many people have invested years into actually getting good at Minecraft PvP and perfecting it, and some people play it really competitively, you know. They have YouTube channels based around how good they are at the game, and you just strip that all away from them and expect them to completely relearn the game. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just not going to happen with every single player. Could you imagine if like CSGO did that and every single pro in the world, all of their skill was suddenly devalued and suddenly they basically had no job because they couldn't play the game anymore? I know that's on a much larger scale, but it's essentially the same thing. It's like also with Call of Duty, if suddenly they released an update that completely changed their combat systems, people have paid money for Call of Duty, they paid money for that experience, they got good at Call of Duty using its mechanics, and suddenly that's all taken away from them, completely gone. There's no wonder why no game company in existence has ever completely revamped their basic systems like this ever, you know? Like, I'm not saying that minor tweaks can't be made, I think that minor tweaks should be made, but a complete revamp on a game that's been out for as many years as Minecraft has is very debatable. Like I said though, minor adjustments to the combat system to actually make it better, I'm completely down for. You don't have to completely rewrite everything. The only real flaw in the previous combat system was that it relied on spam clicking, which is such a dumb mechanic, but you don't have to rewrite everything to fix that. Do you know what you do? You make it so instead of constantly clicking down, you just hold down left click. That's literally all you needed to do. Just make it so you hold down left click and that's it. Fine. Maybe you could have changed a couple of other things as well, but was there really a need to completely rewrite everything? But now, all thanks to that one decision, we're stuck in the past. We're forced to use 4 to 5 year old builds of the game just to enjoy our favorite mini games. We can't enjoy the latest updates, so we're constantly stuck doing the same thing. We're still stuck with annoying bugs that were fixed years ago. We're still stuck with lower frame rates as a result of using less optimized versions of the game. Almost no large servers use the new combat systems and still actually support 1.8 connections with no intention of dropping that support whatsoever. Last I heard, around half of all of the connections to Hypixel are still playing on 1.8, and anybody that is playing on 1.9 or later is still using the 1.8 combat system because Hypixel actually modified it, and all they do is suffer from worse hit registration and other issues as a result of that, so they're not really having that great of an experience anyway. And the thing is, we can't change. If Hypixel suddenly decided to drop 1.8 support and start using the post 1.9 combat system, there would be an uproar, which means that Hypixel will likely never ever use any of the advantages of using post 1.9 versions. Personally, one of my favorite things about Minecraft is its updates. I remember years ago when I was a little kid, it would be like the highlight of my entire month when a new Minecraft update dropped. I was like a little kid on Christmas, man. It keeps the game fun, it keeps the game fresh, it makes you want to keep on playing, and ever since 1.8, so many new awesome things have been added to the game. Like, could you imagine if elytras were added to PvP minigames? It would be so awesome, and so many fun, innovative minigames could come off of these updates, but it saddens me to know that it will likely never happen. Instead, all of us in the Minecraft PvP community are stuck doing the same thing every single day. And the only thing that we could possibly look forward to is that some server releases a cool new game mode or new minigame or something that we can enjoy. But even then, we can't take advantage of any of the new features of the game. We're stuck on all of the old systems. We're stuck with all of the old items, all of the old functionality, and there's only so much that you can do with all of that stuff. We're just stuck in a vicious circle, constantly playing the same build of the same game, constantly encountering the same bugs, and nothing can be done about it. We're just left to die whilst all of the other communities in the game can thrive and benefit off of all of these updates. Maybe the sad truth is that that's exactly what you want, Mojang, but it's such a missed opportunity when you're deliberately killing a community that was at one point growing faster than Minecraft itself. I thought this game was all about expression of creativity and innovation and do whatever you want. Well, part of that is PvP. Whether you like it or not, I know our community is not perfect, but we are a part of your game. And maybe have you thought to yourselves, the reason that we're not quite so perfect is because you do nothing to help us. You rely on us to do absolutely everything. And to prove my point, all it took was something new, something fresh. The release of one single free-to-play game was enough to kill off multiple PvP-based YouTube channels all at once. These are all people that love the Minecraft PvP community so much that they decided to dedicate hours, if not their lives, to it through the creation of videos on YouTube. For some of them, it was even their livelihood. And literally all it took was a breath of fresh air to drive them away. It's honestly sad. These people were once so passionate about your game, and you're just happy to sit there and watch their once beloved community burn to the ground. This didn't have to be the case though. You know what else would have been a breath of fresh air? A new playable version of Minecraft. You know, the game they loved. That way, we get to enjoy the game again. We're not stuck on Groundhog Day anymore. And Mojang, we don't need the combat system reverted. You could just add something as simple as a game rule to toggle between the old version and the new version so that servers can choose which combat system they actually want to choose. Just please do something. That's all that I ask. I don't care what it is. I just want to enjoy the game that I love again. Now, I know that this video is extremely far-fetched, and I highly doubt that anything will ever come of it. But I mean, if the PvP community got this far without Mojang, I'm sure we can continue to go even further. Thank you all for listening.